What's up you guys, it's Ben and welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything there is related to selling on Amazon. So in today's video, I want to make sure that every single Amazon FBA seller knows this, and that is profit is key. Now, this may be a very simple thing and everybody already knows this, but I believe that once we get into this Amazon FBA journey and when we start doing product research, speaking to suppliers, actually selling products on Amazon FBA, we tend to forget about profit as much and making as much money as possible. And we focus far more about sales and actually seeing those sales numbers on our app each and every single day grow. And in today's video, what I want to do is just give you a few ways that can easily kill your profits on Amazon FBA and make sure that you guys don't lose sight on what's really important. And that is, how much money can you put at the end of the day, at the end of each and every single month, back into reinvesting into your business or potentially pulling out and using it to fund your lifestyle. Because that is the reason why we are starting selling on Amazon. We're not doing this for fun. We are here to make money. And with that being said, guys, if you are interested in selling on Amazon and you want some additional help, you want some additional mentorship, and you're really not sure where to get started, then please don't forget to check the links down below for my own personal mentorship, where I will help you, guide you personally myself along the way in your Amazon FBA journey. Otherwise, guys, if you're running on a relatively lower budget, but you still want to use some of the business tools that I use, then please don't forget to check the links down below for awesome, by far the most reliable accountants out there. And with my link, you'll get £100 off. Helium 10, the best product research tool out there in the market, or Tide, the best business bank account that will basically set your business and your company all up in one place. And with that being said, guys, let's get straight to the video. Right, guys, so the very first thing we need to talk about, and that is a big profit killer, is maintain your prices extremely low. Now, me personally, I completely understand where you guys are coming from. At the end of the day, maintaining low prices encourages and requires more people effectively to buy from you. The more people buy from you, the more you go onto the first page, and then that sort of snowball effect takes place, at which point you can start increasing your prices. The problem is, guys, is that a lot of people completely forget as to what their 100% ROI is, and therefore don't even know how much of the increase in price they actually have to make in order to start making money. So for example, and this happened to one of my students not long ago, they ordered 200 units of one particular product and 120 of them were sold at a below market price. Effectively, they lost money on each and every single sale just to get up onto the first page. And by the time they get onto the first page and they start selling at an increased price, they start running out of stock, and it will now end up being out of stock right up until end of November, beginning of December. So guys, remember, at the end of the day, the second those sales start to creep up past 3, 4, 5 a day, increase your prices incrementally, slowly but surely, because remember, each one of those sales that are not profitable, not only do you are not making money of them, not only you may potentially be losing money on them, you're also running out of inventory that much quicker. You're running out of potential units that could make you money with each and every single sale. And basically maintaining low prices may not necessarily be the best strategy. Now, understand, for some people that are just starting off in the business, they are encouraged when they see higher sales figures, but you have to remember that those sales figures mean nothing if your prices are extremely low. What may end up happening if you don't increase your prices quick enough, two things. Number one, you may run out of stock very quickly and then find yourself having to restock that much sooner. And second, you may actually come to the realization that when you do need to restock, you actually don't have enough money for that restock because you have been losing sales and losing profit, on each and every single sale. And now you have to actually pull more of your savings to restock and potentially rethink your strategy and your pricing strategy. So make sure not to make this mistake. Start increasing your prices sooner rather than later, especially in Q4 at the moment when the demand for online products and just products in general is bound to go up. Next up, and this is a big one, okay? I think each and every single one of my students have made this mistake and has lost money at some point during using Amazon PPC. Now, PPC effectively, guys, is like a double-edged sword. from one side of things, it's a great tool for any new seller to push their products up onto the first page, to get the visibility for people to see their product effectively and start making sales with very low reviews, with no prior sales velocity, whatever. So it's a great tool that I actually recommend for people to use when they just start selling off their very first product. The problem is that Amazon PPC is twofold. Number one, really difficult to understand, and secondly, Amazon actually pushes you to use PPC as much as possible, because the more you use it, the more money they make. Amazon doesn't care whether you make profit from selling on Amazon. What they care is how much money they can make off you and their customers. So it's in their best interest to push Amazon PPC onto you as much as possible. And a lot of new sellers will get sucked into that Amazon PPC vortex effectively. They may actually even get given like £100 credit or whatever, and then they will end up seeing a lot of their budget effectively go not as a disbursement back to their bank account, but basically to pay off Amazon PPC. And they may actually get some results, get some, positive sales or whatever, but the A cost is so high that each and every single one of their sales continue again being actually not profitable whatsoever. So you have to be really, really careful with how you play Amazon PPC strategy. In some niches, it really works really well. However, in others, no matter what you do, it's basically too competitive. The people that are bidding in that particular niche have bid up the keywords so high that no matter how good your strategy is, you may not necessarily need to use PPC or have to use PPC, because you will simply end up losing money. Next up, guys, simply bad calculations. And this is really, really relevant to all the new sellers out there, because we have so much to learn, guys. There's so much in regards to product research, speaking to suppliers, and so on and so forth. All of this can be quite overwhelming, hence why I'm providing a mentorship, hence why I'm providing a course. But the reason why a lot of people actually lose money on their very first product and lose profit effectively is because they don't actually calculate all the costs correctly, okay? And there's quite a bit of math involved, just like any other business. You have to figure out, first of all, the price per unit in USD, in dollars effectively. Then you have to figure out the shipping costs for all of the cargo. You have to figure out what is the total shipping price, and as well as the unit price as well. So effectively you have unit price times how many units you need to get. Then you have to add on the shipping price. Then you have to subtract all of that number by how many units you're actually buying. And then you have to convert that into pounds. And some of this can actually be quite challenging for people that, might not be as mathematical as others. It can be quite daunting, and it can just get doubtful to some people because they are not, they haven't experienced this before. They don't actually know how to calculate costs correctly. And what happens is when you actually miscalculated your cost and you actually bring the product in eventually and actually list them on Amazon, you realize that you actually have to sell them at a much higher price than you originally anticipated in. Hence why I provide so many YouTube videos out there how to calculate costs correctly and in detail to make sure that you don't get any nasty surprises when those products eventually come in. Once they actually go live, and you're supposed to be excited about your product going live, it's now finally visible to Amazon.co.uk customers, but you realize that instead of selling it at $9.99 in order to make profit, you have to actually sell it at $13.99 or $14.99, and that is a price that I personally don't want to see, and I don't want any of my students or subscribers to see either. Next up, and this is more of an opinion as opposed to anything else, I personally think a lot of new sellers out there really try and start taking money out of the business as quickly as possible, and truthfully too quickly. I personally, when I started selling on Amazon, I took out those profits only 2.5 years later. So I was working on my Amazon FBA business for 2.5 years completely for free. I was not taking a penny out of it. And guys, you have to understand that those profits that you make, you have to reinvest them if you want to leave your 9-to-5 and use this as a full-time job, as a full-time income. Otherwise, if you are actually one of the leeches that is actually taking the profit out of the business each and every single month, your growth will be very, very limited, if any at all, because any profit that does come through goes straight directly into your pocket that you can potentially use on holidays or something else. So make sure, my personal best advice is actually to keep the money in the business as long as possible. Try to maintain your 9-to-5 just for the meanwhile, just to keep the income going, and any money that comes from the business initially will be low, but it will start to grow as the time goes. Maintain that in the business. Make sure you get more products out of it. Make sure those profits tend to grow over time. Like I said, the first year I made £25,000 and only £7,000 in profit. Next year, that 10x, I made over £70,000 in profit, but it was only because I was able to leave all of the money back in the business and therefore get more products. And last but not least, again, this is something that quite a few of my students have asked me questions about, and I tend to discourage. Amazon effectively now sells in a lot of countries worldwide. Back in 2018, I think it was about 9 to 10 countries. Now I've actually even lost count. And what they continue to push onto sellers is to effectively go global. Sell in America, sell in Australia, sell in China, sell in wherever across Europe. But in my personal opinion, if the wheel is not broke, don't fix it. If you're starting to sell on Amazon.co.uk, the market is massive around here. Go deeper into this market as opposed to spreading yourself thin, going into America and other countries, because the truth is the customer trends that we have in UK are very different to the ones not just in America but also in Europe. The language barriers are different, and therefore because of all these difficulties, because not to mention taxes, not to mention income taxes, VAT, state taxes in America, and so on and so forth, all of these things you're just going to take on, and that will effectively lead to making some mistakes potentially and losing profit in the meantime. So in my personal opinion, for anybody that is just starting to sell on Amazon, for the next year, you do not move out of UK. You try to get as many products as possible and make sure you understand how Amazon FBA works, how it really functions, and how Amazon really cares about their sellers and about their customers. And then once you have a year of experience under your belt, if you want to move elsewhere, which in most cases, in my personal opinion, you won't, but if you do, then you can do so by going into Europe effectively, and then potentially in America and other countries. And that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. I really hope you found it useful. I really hope you got some value out of it. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Check the links down below for the mentorships, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.